Welcome to Coming Out of the Dark podcast, a podcast like none other, where women are empowered, encouraged, and uplifted to be the best version of themselves. Get ready to come from darkness into light with a passion to fulfill purpose. Here is your host, Miss Lady O.
Hello, and welcome to another episode of Coming Out of the Dark podcast. I'm your host, Miss Lady O, and today we're diving into something that I think will truly resonate with you. Spectators, cheerleaders, and participants. Don't let the wrong crowd define your worth. Now, we all know what it's like to go after something big. Whether it's a personal achievement, a career milestone, or a breakthrough moment in our journey. And in those moments, we often expect applause. There's nothing wrong with that. We want to feel celebrated, acknowledged, and supported. But what happens when the applause is quiet? What happens when the people you expect to cheer for you seem to be on the sidelines, silently observing? It's a tough feeling. But here's the twist I want to explore with you today. Spectators, cheerleaders, and participants all play different but important roles in your journey. And it's not about letting the wrong crowd define your worth. It's about learning to embrace all these roles and seeing how they contribute to your growth. Let me share a personal experience with you. Recently, I had the honor of being named an Honored Listee in Marquis Who's Who in America. Now, that's a significant milestone for me. And let me tell you, I've experienced all three roles: spectators, cheerleaders, and participants throughout this journey. I've had my cheerleaders, of course, those who have cheered me on from the very beginning, offering their congratulations and excitement. Their support has been loud, visible, and empowering. But I've also had spectators, people who have watched from the sidelines, silently observing my journey. And while it may have felt discouraging at times that their applause wasn't as visible, I realize now that their silence doesn't mean they weren't supportive or impressed by what I've achieved. They were simply reflecting on their own lives, processing their thoughts, and observing the change. And then, we have the participants. I've been a participant. I've been a participant in my own journey, actively engaging with the process of growth, striving for progress, and not letting the outside noise, whether positive or quiet, define my path. Now, I want to take a moment and really break this down so that you can fully understand. Now, I'm going to relate this to social media because I think we're all on social media on some way, form, or fashion. I want to admit something. My social media presence doesn't always get a lot of likes or comments. And in the past, I may have measured my success or value based on those numbers. But here's what I've learned. Even if the likes and comments aren't rolling in, my posts are getting views. People are watching. The views are telling me that even though some may not engage vocally, they're paying attention. They're absorbing my message, reflecting on what I'm sharing, and being impacted by it. This is where the spectators come in. I told you, I'm going to tie it in. Just because someone isn't commenting or liking doesn't mean they aren't watching. In fact, it can be a sign that your content is resonating with them in a deeper way than you might realize. They might be reflecting on what you're saying, considering how it applies to their own lives, and waiting for the right moment to step forward and engage. And this, I believe, is a powerful reminder for all of us, whether you're sharing your achievements or your struggles, whether you're posting something uplifting or challenging. Know that the number of likes or comments doesn't define your worth. The spectators are there quietly watching, and their silent presence matters just as much as the loud cheers of your cheerleaders. Now, speaking of cheerleaders, why not just dive right into that and let's talk about the cheerleaders in our lives. Oh, how we love our cheerleaders. These are the people who are loud, proud, and vocal in their support. They're the ones showing up with excitement, high energy, and all the encouragement you need to keep going. They're your biggest fans, urging you to keep striving and cheering you on at every step of your journey. But here's the thing. While we need our cheerleaders to lift us up, we also need to be cautious not to rely too heavily on their applause for our own sense of worth. External validation, though uplifting, can be fleeting. We cannot measure our value by how much attention or praise we receive from others. The truth is, our worth comes from within, from the belief we have in ourselves and in our purpose. And here's something important. You are your biggest cheerleader. Even when the outside world is quiet, you need to be the loudest voice cheering for your own growth, progress, and journey. Keep moving forward with confidence, regardless of the applause. Now let's introduce something else. Participants, the real game changers. In addition to spectators and cheerleaders, there's a whole other role that's essential in your growth, and that's the participants. These are the people who aren't just watching from the sidelines or cheering you on from a distance. They're actively involved in the process. They're the ones engaging with your journey, contributing in meaningful ways, and helping you get to the next level. But here's the powerful part. You can be a participant in your own journey too. You can choose to show up fully, not just as someone hoping for validation or applause, but as someone who is actively participating in their own success. You're not just a spectator or a passive observer. You are a participant, taking ownership of your own growth and your path. As lifestyle influencers, entrepreneurs, podcast hosts, or anyone building a brand, we often find ourselves navigating the world of social media. And let me tell you, this dynamic of spectators, cheerleaders, and participants is ever present in the digital space. We measure our worth by the number of likes, comments, and shares we receive. When we get those likes, we feel validated. We feel seen and celebrated. We call those people our cheerleaders, the ones who actively engage with us. But here's the thing. Spectators are there too, quietly watching, processing, reflecting on what you're putting out into the world. And they matter. Their views are just as valuable. They may not be leaving comments, but they're absorbing your content, feeling inspired by your message, and connecting with your story. It's so easy to fall into the trap of measuring our worth based on the external validation we receive. But what I want you to remember is this: your worth is not defined by the number of likes or comments that you get. It's not about how loud the applause is. It's about your participation in your own journey, your willingness to show up, and your commitment to moving forward, regardless of who's watching or who's applauding. So as you reflect on the spectators, cheerleaders, and participants in your life, I want you to embrace all of those roles. Recognize the value that each person, including yourself, bring to the table. And remember, whether loud or quiet, whether active or passive, these roles don't define your worth. You define your worth by how you show up, how you participate in your own journey, and how you keep moving forward with purpose. Now, I want to encourage you to reflect on your own life. Have you experienced moments when you've been a spectator, a cheerleader, or a participant? How did those roles shape your journey? And how can you be more of a participant in your own success? Share your thoughts with me on social media or reach out by email. I'll love to hear your stories and continue this conversation. But for now, I'm going to say thank you for listening. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I am truly honored to share these moments with you. And I look forward to continuing this journey of flourishing together. Until next time, stay empowered and keep moving forward with confidence.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode. Please subscribe to this podcast and like, share, and follow on Facebook and Instagram. Until next time, be well, be safe, and be kind to yourself.